they really weren't interested in someone wanting to go to the school that couldn't afford it. But if you get the scholarship, you get 1 full year, 1 full ride. To say that I went to FIDM and only paid that much, that's freaking crazy, because that's the way to do it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lily, and for today's video I wanted to kind of have a sit-down conversation with you guys about my FIDM experience. I am sitting literally right in front of the FIDM LA campus because I kind of wanted to show you guys what it's like a little glimpse of what it's like to be here on campus. Of course, right now with COVID, it is currently closed, but because it is in the heart of LA, the campus also works as the biggest park in downtown, so it's really nice. You could come and sit down and have a picnic and just enjoy the weather right in the heart of the city. So first off, I was going into high school and I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer, so I did a lot of research as different schools that I kind of wanted to attend. Of course, Parsons in Paris is everyone's dream. That's where Alexander McQueen went to, and he's one of my favorite designers, so that was a goal. FIT in New York, Pratt in Brooklyn, and then of course there's FIDM, which is actually fairly new compared to all of the other fashion schools. So I was worried at first if it had enough credibility in the industry, like if I presented myself with a degree from FIDM, but honestly, I think by now it is. And I really just like the idea of going one state away because I grew up in Arizona, so I wouldn't be super far away. They do offer scholarship. Really talk to a counselor, ask them about everything that's available. Of course, they have merit scholarships, so do really well in high school because that's gonna pay off for college. No matter what college you go to, that's just gonna pay off for sure. For me personally, I knew I wanted to go to this school in sophomore year, which gave me 3 solid years to prepare myself financially, mentally, just all around. And I found out about the FIDM Fashion Club scholarship. So basically, if there is already a fashion club at your school, you can affiliate it with FIDM, and the president gets $4,000 a year and a member gets $2,000 a year. So all around, all those people in the fashion club, it's a win-win situation for everybody. You just kind of have to be sending paperwork to them to let them know that your club is active. So basically, I started a fashion club at my school. I became the president, so I got all $6,000 because that's the way to do it. So that is definitely a scholarship that I got. I also received some money from my grades, as I said. So in total, that was $40,000 for the extension of the 4 years that I was gonna go to get my bachelor's. Another scholarship that they have is associated with FCCLA, and what did we say that was?
Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America.
There we go, FCCLA. So basically, a lot of those elective classes that you have at your high school, sometimes they're connected to this program where they really prepare you for these careers. And for fashion, they have competitions, and one of them was to create a whole collection and a garment, and you present it for state, and luckily I got gold, so that was really good, but that did not get me the scholarship. You have to go to nationals and get first place. But if you get the scholarship, you get 1 full year, 1 full ride, which is amazing, obviously. And I do know that they offer one other scholarship online that also offers 1 full year, which you need to look into, and it's offered to all majors, no matter if it's visual communications, marketing, fashion design. So there's definitely scholarships that are out there that you need to look into it. That being said, it is a private school, so there was not a lot of financial help, and it's pretty pricey. For the 2 years that I went to school, it was $64,000 to get an AA. I got $20,000 in scholarships, and I had $30,000 in a college fund. So for me, technically, I only paid $14,000 out of pocket, which is a miracle, honestly, to say that I went to FIDM and only paid that much. That's freaking crazy. They do payments. They divide the total amount that you owe. So what I did is I gave obviously my scholarship, and I gave the full 30 so that my monthly payments would be lower. And I had 2 jobs. My mom was helping me, so for me it was worth it because it wasn't that outrageous of a number. It was possible. It was just really difficult, I think.
Is that out-of-state tuition or in-state tuition? Is there such
It's private, no, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, so everybody pays the same?
Everybody pays the same.
That's a benefit. It could be looked at as a benefit and a non-benefit.
Yeah, it could. Should also add, at the moment when I was trying to go to the school, I was on DACA. I'm still on DACA. So when I first called them my sophomore year to say, hey, I'm interested, can you please assign me a counselor? They told me that I should look into another school because they probably could never help me. I wasn't going to have financial aid. And they're just looking out for their money. It's a for-profit private school, so they really weren't interested in someone wanting to go to the school that couldn't afford it. And they told me no. But they did say that they weren't sure that they could give me the scholarships because I wasn't a resident. But because it's private, they make up their own rules, right? So it's not like a state school where they're like, if you're non-resident, they just can't give you the money, period. This is a private school, so I feel like it's their benefit to kind of pick and choose who can go through those loopholes. So the fact that like I really showed them that I wanted to go, because I kept calling them as to like what scholarships I could get, where I was going, and my progress in my career at the time. As far as living in Los Angeles, let's see, for me, the good thing about FIDM is that they have 3 other locations. They have it in San Diego, in Orange County, and San Francisco. So if by any chance you live in those cities, you could actually start your first year there, save on rent, which honestly, saving on rent, anytime you get that chance, jump on it. And then for the second year or the remaining 3 years, you do have to come to the Los Angeles location to graduate, to get your other workshop classes that are definitely necessary. And I lived at the Lorenzo, which is independent student living. They do work with FIDM, so they have shuttles that would bring me here for my classes, or they have like a schedule for any time of the day, like if I needed to come and use the workshops. So that was amazing. And they actually had like a studio to work at the apartments, which is great. I could just go downstairs and they had a whole little studio with sewing machines, with those working tables for like pattern drafting. So that was really amazing and helpful at the time. I paid $984 a month to share a bedroom with a roommate that actually became my best friend, and we worked together, we lived together, we went to school together, like we just did everything together. So that was really, really fun. Some classes that they offer is all around. When you're going to a specialized school and it's private, you really kind of want to get out of the way all the English classes, the math classes that aren't really going to serve you anymore. So I tested out of them because I was an AP student in high school. So I just started right off the bat. I had illustration classes by hand. I had pattern making classes, sewing classes, draping classes, Illustrator, Photoshop, which were my favorite, and my ultimate favorite is portfolio building, which is really where you get to know who you are as a designer, aesthetically, style-wise, just everything about it was just really interesting to me, and that was the class that I thrived in the most. And I believe you get the same teacher for 2 years, so you definitely want to be on your teacher's good side. This is what I found out at FIDM, because they do have a little bit of favoritism, even though they're not supposed to. But if you work hard and they see that, that's all that matters, because fashion school is like, you get 2 types of students, right? You get the students that are working and worked their ass off to be here, because it does not come cheap. Like, nobody just decides I'm gonna go to fashion school and I'm gonna have that kind of money to go to it. And then 2, you get the like rich kids that don't know what to do with their lives, and then mom and dad is paying for it. So I feel like you just have to work your ass off to prove yourself, talent-wise, work ethic-wise, with these teachers, because they're like no BS. They don't care where or what you came from. Like, they're just trying to create the next leaders of the fashion industry. So yeah, those were kind of like insight on the classes. I was a solid B student. Sometimes, honestly, I would get really sad with C's, but I would get C's, and I believe most of my C's would come from like my sewing classes, because I would have to pull all-nighters creating like a dress, or you know, whatever the project may be, and I had 2 jobs. So that was never easy. I'll put some pictures of like some of the sewing projects that I made that I had a lot of fun with. And then my last one, I even went all out and created a photo shoot for it to add to my portfolio. Which that portfolio, when you graduate, is what's gonna get your booty in the door in all of these brands that you are aiming to work with. It definitely got me my first job here in Los Angeles as an assistant fashion designer, and it also got me my first job in New York for Michael Kors. as well. So just work really, really hard and make sure like it's an extension of you and your work and your style and your aesthetic, because if it's not, then when you start these jobs, like that's what people are like expecting of you, is what you showed in your portfolio. So just make sure that it's like authentically yours. I think you're either the type of person that you can't wait to get out of your small town, or you like dreading it. But I think that coming to FIDM, I very much enjoyed it. I was that person that I was like ready to leave my small town, the slow life. And it's not a small town. It's like a small town. It seemed like a small town, okay? There was like a lot of cotton growing fields and whatever.
Cotton fields?
Yeah, they do have a lot of cotton fields.
That was my backyard.
Exactly my point. I really enjoy living in Los Angeles. It's definitely way more fast-paced. It's a little bit overwhelming at first, which is why I'm kind of glad I went to Orange County the first year, and then I did go a little bit wild my second year. You meet a lot of like-minded people, friends, and number one big thing, like if you are paying the bucks to be at FIDM, it's for one thing and one thing alone, and that's networking. And if you're not taking advantage of that, I feel like going to FIDM is kind of a waste, like low-key, like high-key. So you need to meet everybody. The girl that you met next to you at the library and the computer, like just whoever you bump into, whoever you're sharing the workshop room with. Talk to your teachers. I think that that's the biggest networking that you could do, because students aren't really there yet, whereas some teachers, a lot of them are still working in the industry and teaching, so they may have opportunities that you don't know about. Sometimes you can get started with your career way before you think that you can. Also, like be vulnerable and be authentic. I feel like fashion school is so hard. That sounds so obnoxious, but like it really is it's a lot. So when you're vulnerable with other people and sharing your experiences, that's when you create more authentic relationships and stronger relationships with people, and that's how they'll remember you throughout the years. Like, hey, there's this job opening and I met this really cool person, I wonder what they're doing with their life now. Of course, with Instagram now, like you don't necessarily have to get someone's number, you can get their Instagram, and I got a lot of people's Instagram, and now it's really cool to go through them and see what they're doing with their life now, what brands they're working with. That's really fun. I've reached out to so many people for jobs, and also you kind of have to stop being scared of that. Like you have to lose the shame in that. Whether you got fired from your job, which I hope never happens, or you quit because the industry sometimes isn't the best, like we've all been through it, and don't be afraid to reach out to people to get a job, because that's just the nature of this industry. I didn't get a bachelor's because I didn't think that was worth it, because a bachelor's meant a lot more money, a lot more time, and I kind of just wanted to get started with the industry. I just wanted that, like, that paper. I'm at a park, guys, so naturally these are the sounds. So I just wanted that paper to get me in the door. And in my resume, I don't always put like AA in front of fashion design. I just put fashion design. A lot of people assume you got a bachelor's, and a lot of people don't even care, because it's a fashion industry. Like, as long as you can prove yourself with your work ethic and with your talent, like that's all that matters. The bachelor's degree only taught, for me, the degree only taught me how to understand the concept of the industry, the things that need to get done. But quite honestly, I only learned how to get those things done by working in the industry. So now I graduated in 2016, so it's been 4 years. And I've learned more in those 4 years than in the 2 years that I was in fashion school. But I only got those opportunities because I did have that AA there, and to say I went to fashion school. I'm trying to think of like questions or thoughts that I had or concerns when I was like on the journey of trying to go to fashion school. I did dress up a lot in fashion school at FIDM. Like every day I probably wanted to make a statement, I'm not gonna lie. But that was also really fun because I got to explore with my style, and I got to see a lot of other people's styles. Some people were like super extravagant, and I remember one kid I went to school with, now he's doing amazing. He's been featured in Vogue. He's doing so well. So yeah, just like experimenting with your style. You don't have to have it all figured out by the time you get here, because like nobody really does, to be quite honest. This was my FIDM experience. I hope that this video helped you guys in any way to make your decision whether to come or not to come. I know things are a little bit tricky right now with the whole pandemic, but I'm sure things will go back to normal, hopefully sometime soon. But if you guys have any questions about my experience or anything that you think might help you or give you more information, just leave all your comments down below and I'll make sure to answer them. Thank you guys so much, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.